Hey, Tiger.
Hi, how are you?
How are you? Good, good. How are you? It's
Pretty
not
good.
just me.
Yeah, I was half expecting no one to show up. Okay, well, we've only got one thing in the doc. So, Adam, do you want to take us through it? I'll give you a minute.
Shall we just go? Okay.
Hi.
Oh, hey,
Hey,
morning.
Good morning.
You're very keen for this merge request to get up so early.
Just for the first time. I might not join for the second time.
Yeah. Well, do you want to go ahead and?
Yeah, I have the first item, but the only item. So I noticed some inconsistency issues in some of our tables, and they are quite large tables. So for merge requests and issues, we maintain a separate table to store metrics, like how many commits we had for the merge request, when was the first commit, when was the merge request deployed. And unfortunately, we don't have a unique constraint on the merge request ID or the issue ID. It's a one-to-one relationship. And yeah, it can easily cause like inconsistencies when we are doing statistical calculations, like when we join this table, it might count the number twice. So I was thinking about cleaning this up, and I have an idea how to do that in a safe way, but I'm not 100% sure this is the safest approach. I tried to search for it, to maybe there is like a nice way how to handle these kinds of migrations, but no, haven't found anything. So the idea is to add an additional column to the table where we track which record is actually unique and which one is not. Of course, by default, each record will be not unique, and the background migration will slowly deduct the records and update this additional column. And of course, for new records after the code is deployed, we'll ensure uniqueness by a partial unique index. So that's the idea. And so far it seems to be working. We need to scan through the whole table, but I guess it's fine because we have few hundred, few thousand duplicate records. So it's like happening because of a race condition, which is quite rare. So yeah, I don't have a better idea to do this. I was thinking about doing one giant query to, just find the duplicates. It does an index scan, but it takes too much time. We have a few million records, so.
I just did it and it takes almost 10 minutes. So.
Ah, okay. For me, it was about half minute.
Oh, just half? Well, yeah, maybe you've had some cache.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a look at your merge request and I don't have any better idea. The only thing I'll probably do different is to use observe, like insert on conflict update or do nothing instead of our safe create, find or create, but it doesn't change anything. It's just our other the native database features. But yeah, the only thing that could be risky is that the scheduling migration needs to go through the whole 40 million records, and we should just make sure this will not time out with bigger offset values, because that's basically the risky part, because those migrations fail deploys and need to be reverted. Otherwise, if the background migration itself fails, it's not that a big deal. We'll be in the same state now. So I like the idea with adding additional columns so that we can have unique index, but also duplicates at the same time.
Cool. So my first idea was to use upsert, and I was looking at the Rails feature that was implemented in 6.0. And when you do an upsert, it doesn't return the actual record. That was my only issue. So I had to like, hey, let's reload from the database.
Yeah.
So it was the simplest.
The Rails upsert has other downside that you can't specify what happens on conflict. It just updates all the columns, even like timestamps. So if I do it, I'll just do a raw SQL. But like I said, save, find, or create will do the same. So it's just a detail, not something that will change it significantly. So yeah, I guess the only thing we can do is like find some, like run each batch queries with large values for offsets to see how they perform.
Sorry, please go ahead.
Go ahead. I think that query might be all right, because we also have a partial index on the records waiting to be processed by the background worker. And so if they're getting removed from the index and we're just pulling from the start of it each time, we might not have to get too high into offset values like that.
True. What I want to avoid is if for some reason we fail to update some records, then it might be in an infinite loop or something like that. So we might need an exit condition.
And you also want not just to remove the duplicates, but merge all the attributes in the last record that we'll have. Is that very important or just nice to have?
To be honest, probably not. These records are mostly empty, so there is not much useful data in them. This was just a safe way to ensure that we always prefer the last updated record, but we still try to pick things up from the earlier ones. But it's very unlikely. And I was thinking about just deleting them, but yeah, this doesn't have too much overhead, I believe.
Do we have you checked, do we have cases where there is more than 2 duplicates per merge request, like 3 or 4?
Yeah, there is 3.
Okay.
And the timestamp is always the same, so that's why I thought probably 2 or 3 different jobs are touching the record on every save, it just creates it, and it happens from time to time.
Well, yeah.
How long were you thinking it was going to take to process, for the background jobs, to process or remove all the duplicates?
We don't have too many duplicates, so it's just an iteration over the table. The query themselves might be just all right, because we always take 10,000 records out of an index, basically, because it's an index scan. And then for the 10,000 records, find duplicates in the whole index. And since the index is sorted, I guess this will be a relatively fast operation. It will take for a few days while we go through the whole data set.
Sorry. Kraz, did you say there was 40 million records to go through? Is that the size of the table?
I think that's how much the query that you run in database what was showing. But it's just the whole table, while they are just like 460 duplicates, at least according to MySQL. But
Right.
yeah, we'll still have to iterate the whole table to schedule batches.
Yeah.
So it could take some time just because of the delay between batches, even if they're like no ops, basically, because there is no duplicates in that batch. So yeah, I don't think the actual background job is heavy. It's just that we need to iterate a lot of records to schedule it.
Yeah, I have one concern, and I probably missed it from the merge request. So after I clean up some records, or even if I don't clean up, I would update the is unique column, and that effectively rewrites the whole table, right? Because I need to say that, hey, I already checked these records. Now these are unique because I cleaned them up. And if I look over the whole table, that's lots of writes. So I need to think about this, how to avoid.
It's the last line where you have records to keep update is unique true.
Yeah, but actually and I actually missed. We should also update that other records that are not duplicated, right?
Those are not. Oh yeah. So it will be single update for like up to 10,000 records, and
yeah.
We should
will,
I'm thinking if we can avoid that somehow. Not sure.
it will mean we rewrite the entire table, right? That's gonna how much space does it take up? It's gonna effectively double up.
Yeah, probably. And it's not about the space, it's more like the IOV we put on the database, because we rarely do these kinds of things. We don't even add the columns with default to large tables for the same reason. So yeah, I need to think about this a bit more, because we might not need to actually set this column for all the records. If we trust that, hey, this background migration actually eliminates all the records, all the duplicated records, then we probably don't necessarily have to update everything. I'm not 100% sure.
But if we don't have that column updated to true, then the unique index will not work, and you still can have duplicates even after you migrate.
Yeah, that's true. There is a small chance for that, because from the application side, for the new records, it will be properly handled because we set the is unique. But for the rest of the data, we simply don't have it. Yeah, I'm not sure. And this column will be dropped anyway. So this.
Well, it will be dropped, but after we create an actual like full unique index on merge request.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess we just have to give it a try. And the scheduling migration is this, at least it's not changing anything. So we can probably run it in a console and see will it time out at any point, just like without scheduling the jobs, just the iteration.
Yeah, actually I have a hack for that to check this. So we have production console access, right?
Yeah.
So I was able to write a small script that takes the query out of my running Rails instance and pipes it into the console and gets back the plan. And for each iteration, I am able to get actually an execution plan. It takes a while, but it's doable.
Yeah.
And
what I had in mind is just run the Ruby code in Rails console and see will it time out. It's better if you get the execution plans. But
I
So I was told once by Nick that we should avoid running long running. We should avoid do long running queries on that production console because something bad can happen. I don't remember what was it, like delaying replication or something. Because obviously they are not completely isolated. But I might be wrong, or this could have changed. So.
That's fine. I mean, I would still keep the statement timeout in place, even maybe lower it a bit.
Yeah, because that's what we want to find.
Yeah, and I also asked Nick a while ago that there will be probably an API for database labs, so these kinds of automations could be much easier if we can, let's say, collect all the queries at one go, send them to database lab, and we get back the plans and then just process them. Yeah. We don't need to copy paste stuff.
Yeah, it's not fun. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will still gonna try to improve this and finish it up and see how it goes on the review. I might ping you guys.
Yeah, if you're looking for review.
Yeah, sure.
Are you gonna? Do you plan to do the same for issues once we have this?
Yeah. And probably if this approach works out, have a documentation, because I know there are not a few other cases and some teams want to do similar things. So probably would be nice to have a standard approach for this.
Yeah, cool.
And if nothing else, then
I
guess
Tiger,
that's it for the...
do you have last words for this call?
No, I don't think so. We had one thing to talk about, and that's done. So
it's a start.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
We usually just one comment. We usually announce it a few minutes, half hour before the call that, hey, we have this thing. Join if you like.
Yeah, that could be helpful. Yeah, I'll put a reminder so that we can post in the Slack channel. Okay.
All right. Then.
Who's is the recording gonna go to the end place automatically, or someone needs to upload it?
That I don't know. As far as I know, it goes to Zoom, and Andreas has to push a button maybe to make it published to YouTube.
Okay, cool. We'll check.
It takes a few hours anyway.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's all. See ya. Thank you.
Awesome.
Ciao.
Thanks.